unlock the full potential of every Australian, irrespective of background. And I see this as a key foundation in building this country's prosperity, and I know Anthony sees this too. We're here today in Carlton, the Italian hub of coffee, food and culture in Melbourne, and it's easy for anyone, savvy pollies included, to bask in that iconic multiculturalism on display. But Italians, when they first arrived, just like every generation of newly arrived migrants, were racially vilified, were called wogs and were considered outsiders. Yet today here in Melbourne, we can't imagine life without Italian Australian culture, most obviously expressed in a good espresso on Lygon Street. But multiculturalism is so much more than the feel-good, the easy photo op elements, the food, the festivals, the dances, the brightly coloured costumes, or the Prime Minister with his chicken korma cook-ups. Some of my Canberra colleagues, like the Prime Minister, don't get it. They don't get that our multiculturalism runs so much deeper into the core of our national identity, who we are as a people. It's the values, the work ethic, the resilience, the generosity that generations of migrants have brought to this country that have made Australia what it is today. And that's what multicultural policy should be about. Substantive policies that ensure every Australian, no matter who they are, whatever their ethnicity, faith or cultural background, have the same social, economic and political opportunities as anyone else. In compiling this report, we heard from our respondents, many of you here, who told us time and time again that is not the reality for our multicultural communities. And if there are people facing structural bias when they try to access NDIS or Centrelink, then it's no wonder that our boardrooms and our parliaments are still very monocultural. Yet we know as individual migrants make up many of the success stories, as Anthony said, of small businesses across Australia. Migrants are twice as likely to start a business in Australia. A third of small businesses are owned by migrants. And it's not just the big names that we know like Frank Lowy or Carla Zampati. It's every second business owner I see down Sydney Road, Brunswick and Coburg in my electorate. Every one of those people who had the get up and go, the tenacity, the resilience to make something special from scratch in this country. So we know the talent is there. That's why one of our recommendations in this report is to establish a new migrant new enterprise incentive scheme, Arrive and Thrive program. A program specifically tailored to the needs of our multicultural communities to support migrants launching new businesses. Yet we have a long way to go to see this multicultural success and the inclusion necessary for its achievement brought into the parliaments, the boardrooms, lecture halls and courtrooms of Australia. The lack of diversity is seen across the board. Our nation's political, corporate and academic leadership positions are overwhelmingly monocultural. There are a few standout exceptions, like our federal Labor leader Anthony Albanese, who has had, he's probably too modest to say this, he's had to fight his way to the top of politics in this country against all the odds. And what are these odds? 95% of board directors of ASX 300 companies are Anglo-Australian. Only 1 out of 38 vice-chancellors in Australia are from non-European background. And the vast majority of past and present High Court judges have been Anglo-Australian. I serve in federal parliament where I am only one of 15 that are not of Anglo or European background. And 5 of those MPs are Indigenous Australians. 15 out of 227. 6.6%. Let that sink in. And when you add the Southern Europeans, the Italians and the Greeks, and the Jewish MPs, it gets to just 23 out of 227. Just shy of 10%. And of course we have Maria Van Vakenu here, who's a member of Cornwall but was a trailblazer on multiculturalism in this country, the work that she has done. The first Greek-born woman to enter federal parliament. These small numbers in political representation contrast starkly with figures showing that an estimated quarter of Australians have Indigenous, non-Anglo or non-European backgrounds. And the fact that 49% of Australians are either born overseas or have one parent born overseas. Now, we have made progress on gender in the ALP, the Labor Party. We have almost 50% female MPs because we saw the problem and we chose to act. And We've begun the work on gender diversity. We need to do better with ethnic diversity. Putting the two together, we need to do much better for women from diverse backgrounds whose voice is often not heard. Community leaders tend to be male. Holding up a mirror to ourselves is not easy, it's hard, but we must, because representation matters.